Hey, everybody. It's Geeks Conversation. I have Angel and Ray Jameson with me. How are you doing, Ray?
I'm doing well, man. Greetings from Winnipeg.
Happy to have you.
Or Winterpeg this time of the year. We're almost at a freezing temperatures consistently now.
Oh, brother. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, it's spring here in the Midwest. I'm so sorry.
It is spring. It's just the range is a lot more extreme. Everything's relative, right? So our spit doesn't shatter on the sidewalk anymore, so we consider this warm and balmy.
I thought my 50-degree day was cold with the wind. I'd hate to have your cold.
Well, in Fahrenheit, freezing's 32. Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Yeah. Okay, that is pretty chilly. That's not summer weather, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're almost there, but I mean we're closer than you are. It feels like. But we're here to talk about your Kickstarter, man. This is so cool. The Madcaps. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. If I had to summarize this in an elevator pitch, there's two. The first one is the appeal to who would be interested. In a nutshell, anybody who has friends and they're old enough to miss their friends, they don't get to see them as much as they could, quote unquote, back in the day. Scenarios such as passing through a city, you might be able to see your friend in a parking lot for 5 minutes. And that's very refreshing. You didn't realize how much you missed that person. This book is an homage to that caliber of camaraderie. It's just told through the theme of fantasy, through the medium of a comic book. In regards to the plot of the storyline, this 3-issue miniseries, which takes place all in one night, is about 4 friends meeting up in their hometown and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they find themselves helping stave off the beginnings of an undead outbreak. It's led to believe that this has something to do with a local drug called weave. And throughout the night, following some leads, they are inclined to step up and grudgingly do the right thing just because they're the closest people to get certain things accomplished. Issue 3 starts off with these 4. They come to a revelation that there is a necromancer in charge who is attempting to put a curse on their hometown by sunrise. So we have these 4 individuals. They are not the mightiest in the realm. They are tired. They've pulled an all-nighter. They've exerted themselves. They are not in the best of shape. And this really boils down to, are they able to pull off a win? Even going for help is going to sacrifice critical amounts of time. And going back to the friendship dynamic, people who are around their friends, you are more inclined to live up to how your friends view you. So they're stuck between a rock and let's see if we can actually pull this off.
Incredible.
Sounds amazing.
I was reading about it, and in your bio, you kind of talked to it. So this feels like a group of friends playing D&D. It felt like, to me, it was like very much like,
yes.
Oh, we're rolling up characters, we're doing this thing. Yeah.
Well, this story originates almost 20 years ago. I moved across country, and I left everything, family, friends, and all the little nuances in between. And I was always looking for excuses to hang out via webcam with my friends, and we tried Dungeons and Dragons. To add to the challenges of being a dungeon master, I decided to do everything homebrew. So there was no modules. I didn't follow any templates or anything. I didn't bite off more than I could chew, but there was definitely a lot to chew. And we made this really fabulous realm that my friends got to help carve out with me as they played. We played a lot of different campaigns in this reality over the last 15 years, roughly. And I wanted to express it in a story. So I found one that fit in a short little story of 3 issues. And I took out the characters that the players were playing as, and I injected in my own that were based off of people I know and things they aspire to be. And I got to exaggerate their strengths and their weaknesses and reflect it all in a fantastical way. It was very satisfying to watch this story melt together, especially because this was my first time writing a comic.
It's interesting. So how was that? How was it being your first time?
I've had a lot of positive feedback. Every April, I've been releasing 1 issue. So this is the final issue, the 3rd April I've done this, and it has, by the day after us recording this interview, will be the halfway point, and I've just broken my best raise of funds by $4, which just hit. But I'm at the halfway point of the Kickstarter, and I've never made this much money before. So that shows that there's repeat backers, repeat readers, and anybody that's new, they're buying the other issues, which is very encouraging as well. So to quote my interior artist, Victor Medina, he says that the scripts I write are very easy to translate onto paper. So I'm very flattered about that. I'm very paranoid about not being understood, but there's a tough balance, because if you ask something of anybody of any artistic craft, the more you have to give them some creative constraints. But if you give too many, you start choking out their flair. And that's the whole reason I select and pick these people. I need that flair. So for him to say it was very easy, I was very happy with. And I'm very accommodating, considering their flair. I will tell them, I trust your instinct. So something like, you know what, this panel will be better at this perspective. I'm going to draw it like this. Or maybe these two panels will be better portrayed as one. I encourage them to try those things. It can't hurt to show me a suggestion.
Awesome.
Looking at your artwork behind you on the screen, that is amazing. How did you pick your artist to go with your storyline?
Well, man, there's so much out there, and I think it's very opinion versus opinion about who's the best artist, quote unquote. For me, it wasn't the best of the best per se. It was what would fit this story well. So if I had somebody that was really good at drawing Transformers, essentially all these blocky polygons, well, they're not necessarily going to be that great drawing something that is a lot more wild and fluid and chaotic in expression. So in a lot of cases, I would see a lot of fantasy art, and I would definitely dabble into that. This image right behind me here, this is actually one of the tiers in their current Kickstarter. We're calling it the Special Edition Trilogy. All 3 issues with brand new covers. And when you assemble the covers, it makes this image behind me here. You can see them all there. And so we have the 4 main protagonists. We have a very mysterious antagonist on, I guess that would be my right. There's the green guy. That's Madcaps, one of my characters. But the antagonist, we don't know too much about her. And then there's a large hairy leg on the other side. And other than the little jump scare at the end of the trailer, there's nothing known about that. It's been a lot of fun, but also torturous, holding back on very specific details like that. So going back to your question about picking your artists, the one behind me there, this is Rob Ramos Rodolfo from Brazil. He did one of the variant covers of Madcaps for me in issue number 2. I picked his brain. I liked how he depicted the characters, and I thought this would be really good. But an interesting piece of information, all of my interiors and many of my covers, including this image behind me, they're all colored by Dan Kemp. Dan Kemp has colored basically Spawn issue 50 to 150. So Todd McFarlane's pencils and inks. Also, who else is in there? Capallo, Chance Wolfe. He's rolled with the greats. So it's very humbling for someone like little old me with no credentials to my name before this project, asking, would you be interested in working on this project? And him saying yes. That's how I got almost all of the talent that's been attached to this project. Basically, I just asked, and many people gave me no, which is very understandable, but I got some real good gems that took a chance on me, and I'm very happy with how this has been turning out.
That's awesome. You mentioned Spawn, and I kid you not, and if I can pull this up, when I was scrolling through your Kickstarter, this red cape, I was like, that's Spawn. That was totally Spawn.
Spawn's cape in those issues, that's the same style. That is that color. It feels that. that way. Now, Victor Medina, he also did that cover there. That's the main cover. There's a cool story behind that cover. At the end of issue 2, when we finished the campaign and everything was great, he posted this online and said it was his warm-up drawing to do the interiors of issue 2. I liked it so much, I said, dude, I want to buy this off you. It's going to be the main cover for issue 3. And I've heard a lot of people say it's very reminiscent sometimes of McFarlane, sometimes of a couple of different artists, but he is a very underrated linesman. He has some really good talent behind him, and I've been very fortunate to get him on this team.
Oh, for sure. I mean, no, the art and the coloring is awesome. It's just all the different covers. Forgive me.
Yes,
I do want to talk about that too. Like, how did you determine like we're going to have like 12 covers? I'm joking, but like
I get
a
you.
lot of covers.
Yeah, so it's a funny thing with comic culture. There are individuals that are collectors and they love variant covers. So one thing I've done with issues 1 and 2, go up for 1 sec, up one more. So here we have Madcaps.
I love that.
Everything that I have in a cover, sometimes when you get a comic on the shelf, the cover has nothing to do with the interiors. Sure, it might have the protagonist or something like that, but it doesn't really have any type of foreshadowing or anything. One thing I try really hard in all of my covers is to have some type of relevance of what you're about to read. So Madcaps, in this case, he collects a book by the end of issue 2. You can see it in his hand there. That has something going on. Madcaps is really interesting because despite him being over 6.5 feet tall and over 350 pounds in body weight, the scariest thing about him is his brain, and he has a lot of potential to be very good in the arcane that he hasn't had the opportunity to develop his studies, but he has this very interesting blade in one hand, and he's not a skilled fighter. This is all just ceremonial. He reflects the little culture he knows of his people. He was raised by humans. But that book in his hand, that's the scary thing from my perspective, not that blade. But anyways, if you go up one more, I think that's the one of Jay Sloan. Another example. So here we have this dwarf who just clears 4 feet in height. He's got this little protective holy ward. He's very devout to something only known as the divine. You can see on the left side of that cover, like skeletons trying to bite into this shield, if you will. And his axe is a holy weapon. So one thing I wanted to, the colorist, who was Dave Kemp in this case, I wanted the axe to be inflicting something that looked like the skeleton was almost allergic to it in regards to light. So you can see actually light shooting out. It's kind of reminiscent. I forget which Freddy Krueger, but the one where they put holy water on his head, on the skull, and then he starts yelling out in pain. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a similar dynamic there, just less dramatic. There's a lot of cool covers, but if you go down to that one is, if anybody's played Final Fantasy for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
I love this one.
This is an homage to Final Fantasy. Yeah. This is done by Jenna Stark. She is the only person to do one cover for each issue. And I told her that I wanted it to feel like the battle sequence in Final Fantasy, but do not feel bound that you have to make it look pixelated in 8-bit. Mm-hmm. And her style, especially for issue 1, when she did one of the little guy done in Eni, she used a style, a painterly style, even though it was digital. It looks like brush strokes. And I said, lean into your strengths. And I think this is a great depiction of, it's almost like the man behind the myth, if you will. It feels like this is what the Nintendo games were trying to show, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And even something like the main antagonist here, she's in the position, one of the first bosses you fight, and you fight him a couple more times in Final Fantasy, is Garland, this knight. She's in that exact same position. If anybody watching this now, if you're to Google image search NES Final Fantasy Garland, you'll eventually see what I'm talking about there. We even pixelated the title just to bring that homage tighter together. It's beautiful. Like, I'm very happy with how all these covers turned out. Underneath that one, this one's a little different. This is done by Fish Lee. Speaking of Little Dunn and Eni, all I said to Fish Lee is I want Little Dunn and Eni, who's less than 4 feet in height. I want him walking away from a building or fire that used to be a building. And I want some mischief on his face. And keep in mind that this will be a lava foil cover. He said, "Say no more," and I didn't have to correct anything. He pretty much just knocked it out of the park. For anybody who doesn't know what lava foil is, imagine metal foil, almost like those old school cards that were holograms that had that foil style, but it's going to be in a specific format of reds and swirls to look like the surface of lava to amplify that fiery look. I think that's really going to pop.
Is he an arsonist? Is that the implication of
you're going to have to read to find out. I will neither confirm nor deny such an accusation. The one underneath it, though, Pog's Art is his alias. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. He has over 175,000 followers. Dave Kemp, Dan's brother, colored this one. And everything in that cover that's white is going to be glow in the dark.
Oh, that's neat.
And again, very excited to see these covers. I think this is the other two campaigns with covers that were awesome. I think this is, I keep on toeing the line, raising the bar a little bit, and I think this is the best collection. They look, this one looks the best together. But anyways, going back to your question about covers, I try to do one of each character because this is the first time they've all been shown in a comic. And one group shot. So for issue 1 and 2, it was just 5 issues or 5 covers each. But for this one, I did the 5 covers, but I had the main antagonist cover. If you scroll up, it is the one of the necromancer with the skeletons, that one right there. So again, this is colored by Dan Kemp, the Spawn colorist, but this is also drawn by Harv Salterez, who he did Ghost Rider, the first year of Volume 2, where Dan Ketch took over the Rider in the early 90s. Another thing worth noting, I know Nicolas Cage played Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider in his movie depictions, but they didn't use the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider look. They used this artist's depiction of Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider. So the spikes and the leather, that's taken off of this guy's design, which is really, really cool. And another interesting, another interesting notion about this, when you really think about it, I have the colorist of a Hellspawn of Image and the illustrator of a Hellspawn of Marvel, essentially. And I got to combine their efforts.
What a cool merging
awesome.
of worlds.
This is the second time I've gotten them to collaborate. They've never worked together, despite them working through the 90s till now. So I'm very happy to have helped facilitate that.
Yes, that is amazing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. And anybody who reads a lot of Ghost Rider, you can really see it in especially the skulls for obvious reason.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm a big fan of Harv Salterez. He's had a big passive impression on me since I was a child throughout his work. I think that's all the covers. I did the last one, of course. If you scroll down enough, you will see the image behind me, but it's broken up into the 3 different covers. Oh, well, let's talk the interiors. This is page 1 of the final issue. This is them you saw in the variant cover of Madrakis. He had the book in his hand. Well, here's them looking at that book. Madrakis has to use some arcane ability to actually understand what's to be read in it. I didn't even have dialogue on this because there's everything is so close to spoilers in it. So I decided to just leave the dialogue out. If you go down to the next image, one thing that this one here, a lot of people really liked in issue 2, Chazgo, the blue-skinned elf. They really liked his his debut of this 3-eyed albino raven, his pet, named Emix. I don't have any context to this image, but people were asking, are we going to see more Emix? So I made sure to put this page in there. Yep, you can see she's present. A lot of people want me to make a plush out of her, which I'm not against the idea. It's just
a good idea.
Campaign.
Yeah,
really cool. And then underneath that is just a little bit of foreshadowing of action. But there's a lot of action going on in this. It's so close to spoilers, so I figured this was the least spoilery of everything going on. But you can see
what a fun panel, though. There's so much going on.
Yes, Victor Medina did a great job, and then again, Dan Kemp just amplifying what's already there. What a great team! That's all I have to say. And of course, the lettering, which you don't see here, is Micah Myers, but he lettered the last 2 issues. This one, same. It'll be the same thing. It'll be just as awesome.
Sure. And there's one more reward I wanted to talk to you about. At least,
yes,
we've done about all of them, but This seems like a deal. If I can get to it, get so many rewards. Let me get to the professional dungeon or the one sheet. Like that seems like a really fun thing to do for $35, and you're getting stuff like that.
So this is a professional dungeon master named Michael Towson. Roughly 15 years ago, there's a kids show called Talking Tom and Friends. Michael Towson voiced Tom the raccoon. He's voice acted for like Disney, William Shatner. He's been around, and his dungeon master skills. For anybody who's never played before, if you're ever interested, if you back that tier, you'll play a one shot with him. Within 10 minutes, he'll have you up to snuff and having a really good time. I've played with him. He's actually been a player in one of my campaigns for a one shot, and that was a lot of fun. All of the funds for that tier I don't profit from. They go directly towards his service. He charges by the player. So I have this tier in here to help promote him, essentially. And it's in turn exposure to my book, of course.
Sure.
Sign you up, Justin.
All right. I'm in. Angel will be one of your backers for this. It'd be great.
Done. Beautiful.
Yes.
Right on.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. There's a metal one too, right? I thought that was crazy. You have a metal cover, is that correct?
Metal foil.
A metal foil, yeah.
Metal. Okay.
So there's two of them. The first one there, which you just highlighted, that was actually a variant cover of issue 2, and you'll see it's Chazgo. You know what? If you scroll down on the main column, you'll see it at the bottom. People can see it a bit better.
Okay.
Keep going. You're about halfway there. Bam! That right there. Okay, so that one right there. People loved this one so much, I brought it back again. That's the first time you see anything about MX. You can see it on his shoulders. Jay Sloan drew this, and Dave Kemp colored it. I feel Jay Sloan's depictions of Chazgo are, I think, the most honest of how I try to portray his true form. He's always hiding who he is with magic. He's disguised himself as a human. There's various reasons for that. He would be killed on sight. His kind is not liked that well. And a lot of that is earned. He himself feels his people are dysfunctional, and he moved into a human settlement to get away from them. Kind of tough, and I think every human being can relate to that, of you don't wear your identity on your sleeve for first impressions. You go back 10, 20, 30 years, you probably wouldn't say you played D&D as one of your first introductory sentences. Yeah. And nowadays it's more okay, of course. But I think a lot of people, at least one of these 4 characters, they can see themselves in. Chazgo, again, so MX is on his shoulders. That's the first time it's depicted. The body language that Jay put on this, you can tell he enjoys solitude, but he's not alone. He's with his pet. And then Dave Kemp, who colored this, I didn't give him a lot of colors to work with, but it still works. It works so well. People are like, this has to be metal foil. So I was happy to oblige. The same combination of talent is the cover underneath, which you've already seen, but that is also being offered as metal foil. Yeah, but it's the same sense. 2 guys. They're really good at making metal foil images, essentially.
That's incredible. For your characters, the ones that are, I guess, loosely based off of your friends, did you interview your friends? Did you pick their brains about their characters? Or did you need to? Or did you? You've been in it for 15 years. Did you need
just wing it?
Just go and do it. Yeah.
What I did is I wrote the script out for all 3 issues, and they were the first people I showed it to, and they loved it.
Oh, neat.
So that was the first time they found out when the first draft was finished.
You didn't tell them before that you were
correct.
I love that. That's something I would do. Like, let me just jot this down.
Surprise! Yeah. I basically think they were just flattered, especially when suddenly this is actually becoming a thing. And look at these drawings and these pictures. They're just very flattered when I show them a depiction of how, or an expression of how I view them. So they're just like, this is cool, awesome.
Yeah, that's. Now, because it's your world and you've been there for 15 years, I know this is a three issue kind of story. I assume you can go for forever. Like 15 years is a lot of content for any world.
There's two answers to that. The first one is when I made this mini series, because this is my first time creating a book, I wanted it to finish strong. I didn't want it to fizzle out like some type of attempted ongoing monthly, like I'm an amateur, relatively speaking. Sure. Jerry Seinfeld, when he was at the, why can't I think of the award? I need to look this up. I don't know why I can't remember the words Mark Twain, but when Julia Louis-Dreyfus got the award for Lifetime of Comedy, Jerry Seinfeld was a guest speaker there, and he said he never felt he was funny. He felt the reason the show he was affiliated with was so successful is because he surrounded himself with funny people. And I mean, I can't control my writing ability. Like I can refine it, of course, but everybody else around me, I wanted to make sure they're worthy of this story. The other part about it is, there's a lot of lore. I made this 3-issue miniseries. I wanted it to feel like this world existed before the story starts, and I wanted it to feel like it exists after the story is finished. And for the people who have read the entire script, they agree it does feel like that. I could keep going on. I don't know until this Kickstarter is done. Now, my publisher, shout out to Philip Russert of Philbo Publishing. He has a distribution company, and my book is going to local comic shops after this Kickstarter is done. I feel kind of spoiled because this is my first time writing something, and I'm already a published writer. It feels really weird. But again, I'm getting repeat readers and backers, so I guess it's half decent. I mean, I can pump myself up so great and say, I'm a big deal. If you don't believe me, ask me and I'll tell you. But it's something else when somebody else can say that. Sure. So it's very, very encouraging. So with that said, the reason I'm saying all these things is I'm open to the idea of continuing on. So there is lots of lore to express and expand upon and explore. I didn't intend for the E words all there, but either way,
glad you did it.
I think I'm open to the idea. This is not my day job, so I've got mouths to feed, and I got a wife and a mortgage and life. This is the fun part. So as long as it's fun, and as long as I'm not getting bogged down for any reason, financially or otherwise, I'm happy to do more. But I won't know until this Kickstarter's done. Oh, sure. One thing I will say though is because of my efforts on this book, I have been taken on to do a couple short stories for other comic companies. One of them is for Big Dog Inc., doing what's called the Paranauts in his universe. This is the equivalent of Power Rangers. And then there's another one I can't say yet, but again, encouraging. I must be a little bit above average. Right? So I'm doing something right, and I'm happy.
Congratulations. Opening so many other doors for yourself. That's amazing.
Thank you kindly.
Even if it's not this world, do you want to do other Kickstarters and things like that? Let's remove the D&D part of it or this story. Is there more there? Do you have anything else you want to write about?
I don't consider myself a one-trick pony. Are you guys familiar with the Green Lantern Corps?
Yeah.
So Green Lantern Corps, there's all these different Green Lanterns. Willpower is the fuel of their abilities. It's the factor that decides how strong their constructs are and stuff. You have like a Kyle Rayner or a Guy Garner, which will make these really intricate things. And then you'll have Hal Jordan, who'll just make a big fist and smash through everything. I consider myself a big fist. I like focusing on one thing at a time and just doing the cool thing. And especially, again, I have limited time to work on it. It's not my day job. If I have a fraction of time available to work on this and then I fracture that up amongst different things, I don't think I get anything done. Yeah. So I have some ideas and they're on the back burner right now. So again, I'm just going to be focusing on this Kickstarter, making sure the cool story gets out to people. The cool thing happens. This is also going to go to trade paperback after that. My distributor's been very happy with me, and we'll see where this goes next.
Can we put this on a shirt? I consider myself a big hammer. This would be good.
Hashtag. We'll put that for you.
Hashtag Mjolnir. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good pull. Good pull. So, was this 3 issues? Is this your first time doing a Kickstarter as well? Is this the first foray into Kickstarter?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of spoiled because my publisher does all my Kickstarters for me.
Man, that's awesome.
One of the bonuses to that is I can focus more on promoting, like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So my publisher is doing all the behind scenes stuff to keep the machine moving. Me, I get to put more eyes on the machine. So it's been very beneficial for all parties that we have this arrangement.
Awesome. It's incredible. Any conventions you're going to go to with the book or books?
Well, I'm not going to go with 1 issue, so that's why I haven't gone yet. When the trade paperbacks are done, I'm open to the idea. Now, one of the kickers about being in Midwestern Canada is the population is not nearly as dense. We're very spread out. Sure. So I'm in a relatively larger city, not one of the largest cities in Canada, but Winnipeg is kind of the central hub. It misses all of the big booms, but it misses all the recessions as well. It's got its own Comic-Con. It's like 6-minute drive from my house. Awesome. But to go to the next Comic-Con, that's like 8 hours drive. That's the next closest one. So,
oh man,
there's some. If my publisher, who's in New York, ever wants to do something, if I were to fly down, I'd be open to that idea. But right now, like I said, getting into a local comic shop, that's second on my list. And right now, just this Kickstarter is my focus.
Dope. Well, sir, anything else you want to talk about or discuss around the Kickstarter?
When do you think this one will post? This interview, when will it go public? That depends. That dictates what my answer is.
Fair enough. Let's say Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday? Like in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it can be as fast as you want it.
I'll hold off. I'll say stay tuned because there's going to be some new tiers to be revealed throughout the Kickstarter, and there's some good ones. And I wish I could say more, but take that.
I limited you. I'm sorry, everyone. I limited you.
There's more. So most important thing you could do is check the Kickstarter out and follow it. One of the best things you can ever do. It costs you minimal effort of just clicking on buttons. Click on follow that campaign, and when I go to the updates, put in updates, you'll get notified. And when you see these new additions, they're pretty cool. And it sounds so shallow. It's awesome, believe me, but I swear they are.
Well, you can easily get to the Kickstarter with the QR code above me. I did that real quick.
Beautiful. So appreciate it.
Should be awesome. Pretty easy to get to. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Sorry. No, of course. I think you were saying something, Angel. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask where everybody can find you out on social medias.
Social media, you can find the Madcaps Facebook page. You can also find me on Facebook as DM Ray. DM is just short for Dungeon Master. You can also find me on Instagram as Raymond the DM because DM Ray was taken, that scallywag. But more importantly, it's currently live, this Kickstarter. It's an entire story, 3 issues. You do not have to have 70 years worth of lore memorized to avoid going on Reddit to understand a certain reference in a comic that was actually referenced to like 1973. There's none of that. You can go in with an open mind and you can appreciate it when you close the final book. And I guarantee you will at least get your money's worth, but I think you get a bit more than that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been a really good time.
Yeah. Right. See you, everybody.
See ya.